You're here now, so let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about how we're gonna get y'all to pass NCLEX on the first attempt so y'all can get out here, get these jobs, and start making this money, okay? So, let's start off by saying what you don't need to do, okay? A lot of you all make a mistake because you are overwhelming yourself with trying to learn or relearn content that you already know, that's already up there. Trust me, you have it. You have the content down. So we're not going to do that anymore. We are going to practice taking the NCLEX as if we are taking it so that you can pass the NCLEX on the first time. So let's get to the steps real quick. Step one is to practice, okay? And when I say practice, I don't mean take 5 questions on Monday, 10 questions on Tuesday. No, this needs to be a whole organized situation. Your practicing should be like a well-oiled machine, okay? And this is what practicing looks like. I'm gonna put a little calendar here because this is what's going to be the main focus on how we organize the questions that we're going to take for NCLEX, okay? So you're going to get your calendar and you're going to input any task or event that is a priority of yours for the week. We are only going to assess our situation based on the week ahead. We don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We're looking at week 2, week 3, week 4. No, just week 1, okay? So we are going to input things that are, again, priorities. So if you have to work on Monday and Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., put that in your calendar. If you have to babysit your little brother on Friday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., put that in your calendar. So once you input all of your priorities for the week, you will then assess and see how many test questions you can take on that day, okay? So again, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves and we also want to be realistic, okay? Definitely realistic. So if you see that you have a concert that you're going to or a wedding that's like an all-day event, we're going to skip that day. We're not going to do any practice questions on that day because we don't want to rush, overwhelm ourselves, do horrible on the practice run, and then get more anxious. So we're going to skip. However, I do recommend that you do 35 to 145 questions a day. Now, if you have to skip a day, I do recommend the rollover method. So remember how I said that I recommend doing 35 to 145 questions a day? So listen up. If on Monday you plan to, do a wedding or an event that you have to work and you can't do any practice questions, okay, great. Then on Tuesday you are open that day and you can do questions. Roll over the questions that you would do on Monday on to Tuesday. So instead of doing the minimum of 35 questions on Tuesday, you will instead do 70 practice questions. So same thing goes if you have to miss Monday as well as Tuesday and can't do any practice questions until Wednesday. So if Monday you have to miss, Tuesday you miss, and then on Wednesday you decide to do practice, you will now do a minimum of 105 questions because Monday's missed questions, Tuesday's missed questions, and now Wednesday's questions. When you can join all that together, that's 105 questions that you will test on this day. And this is also why I say do not do more than 145 questions a day, because if you have to miss a day, imagine, rolling that over. And this is also why I don't recommend practicing more than 3 days in a row. We're not only practicing our test questions, we're not only getting a calendar to assess how many questions we can do a day, we are also remediating the questions that we get incorrectly. I mentioned that term previously, but you may have heard it by different terms such as revision or reviewing, but remediation is the act of reviewing all the answers that you answered incorrectly, and you're going to go back and handwrite the rationale. So I'm going to give an example here of what remediation looked like, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to handwrite the question or like a summary of the question, because those questions can be lengthy. You're also going to handwrite the correct answer, handwrite the incorrect answer that you chose, as well as handwrite the rationale along with the reference point so you can go back and review later. That's what remediation is. And this helps because it helps with your memory. And you're also reviewing content that you obviously may have, forgot or need a little refresher on. And by remediating, because sometimes we have the content down when we have the knowledge and we know the answer, but we get it incorrect because we're rushing through the question. So you can take a look, step back, and see why you got that question wrong. Because maybe the question was asking what to do next, not what to do what's best. Remember, those questions can be tricky. So remediation is a big part of this whole practice. We talked about how we're going to get our calendars and assess how many questions we're going to take a day. We talked about the rollover method, and we talked about remediation. So these are the things that we're going to do from day 1 through day 6. So on day 7, what you're going to do is you're going to go back and review all of those remediation notes that you've done from day 1 through day 6. And what you're going to do is you're going to see what type of questions that you missed. Were a bulk of the questions that you missed application style questions, or a bulk of the questions that you missed pharmacology questions, or a bulk of the questions that you missed cardiology questions, or were a bulk of the questions that you missed because you ran through the question and you knew the content, but you just rushed through everything. So like I said, on day 7, you're going to go back and review all the things that you missed and kind of get a collection of that. And on day 7, you are going to test only those types of questions. So if on day 7 you see that you missed majority of cardiology questions on days 1 through 6, you're going to test 35 to 145, your choice, of cardiology questions on that day. And this will help you, get confident in that area, because obviously that's the area that you missed. So doing this method of organization and remediation does a lot of things for you as you prepare for NCLEX. Number 1, the organization helps decrease anxiety as well as the feeling of being overwhelmed, because you're organizing, and it helps set realistic goals because you're taking a look at all your priorities for the week and you're seeing how many questions you can do that day. A lot of times we say, okay, I plan to do 500 questions this week. And when we don't get to it, we get down on ourselves. When you do the calendar, quickly assess as well as set realistic goals and expectations. So I talked about the rollover method, which also helps decrease anxiety. And then we talked about remediating. Remediating is great because it helps with memory. Yes, I know handwriting, all of the, rationales with the references and the questions and everything can be tedious. It will be tedious, okay, but it works. This is a proven strategy that I have, told all of my previous students and mentees and through my coaching, and it is a 100% success rate of passing NCLEX on the first attempt when you utilize these methods. I'm telling you, it works, okay? So I have an ebook which is free, okay? I've written this myself. This is not no chat GPT. This is not nothing that I bought and I'm reselling. This is something that I've written myself, that I've utilized from my past experiences, from coaching and mentoring nursing students like yourself to pass NCLEX for the first time, okay, on their first attempt. So I put the link in my description box below. There are no strings attached. You don't have to share. You don't have to like. You don't even have to comment. Just download the book if you plan on testing for the NCLEX soon. You don't have to like, comment, or subscribe to get the free ebook that I linked below. However, if you found value in the content here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be on the lookout for new content that I will be dropping. I will be doing some story times about my experience as a nursing student, as well as a new graduate nurse on the floor, as well as my experience as a, experienced nurse and travel nurse. I'll be doing some NCLEX review questions, some live Q&As, and if you just have some questions and you don't want it to, it to be out there, make sure you just, send me a DM. Also follow me on Instagram, because I look at all of my comments and I read all of my emails as well as my, my DMs, and I will be sure to get back with you. I know that this can be a scary time for you all, but trust me, you got this, okay? You got this, and I'm here to help you become a great nurse. Okay? We're here on this journey together, guys, okay? So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, send me your suggestions, send me your comments, and I will see you on the next video.